Back to the Crochet Crowdhouse with my friends over at yarnspirations.com. This is the 5th and final edition of the Mandala Sampler Throw. Today we're going to put this together, and I'm also going to demonstrate the border for you today. We're going to be using an invisible join in order to have the join marks so that it's completely flat. So let's take a look at the layout and let's see what we're going to get ourselves involved with today. So here's the layout on the sheet, the final time we get to look at it, and we're going to start off, and what I would strongly recommend is that start off in the middle and work your way around. So what I would do is just pick up and start joining, and join 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So go all the way around the middle and join all of those in. Watch when you're joining though, you make sure that you keep the right side facing up so that you don't just suddenly turn around and realize that one is upside down. That happens to the best of us. Then what you can do is that come on the outside here and just kind of trace it and join all these at the same time. So this will mean that you will have these cross marks in between and these then to fill in after the end of that. If you wish just to go around and do it like that, that's completely up to you. The less times that you have to change over the yarn, the faster that you can be to join. So we're going to be doing an invisible join technique. I'm going to be using a different color other than white because you're not going to be able to see it, but I will demonstrate it anyway, and let's begin. So in the pattern you're going to notice that we have the center. Obviously mine's just slightly different. We talked about that in the last video. And what we have is we have the two sides here. So if you look at the pattern you will notice that this one here is right here. So you can just kind of match it as you go. So that's something that you can decide if you want to change the order of anything or change out not using one and switching it for another. You know, there's no yarn police as far as I know. So what we have to do is we have to concentrate really carefully on using the back loop only. So you see that there's two loops that make up a stitch. If you concentrate on the one that's furthest away from you on both sides of this, so this one right here, and then you pick up the other one and you concentrate on this one here and the back one, then what happens is that when it fills it in, it makes an invisible join. I am going to use a different color today, and I'm also recommending that you get a needle that has a slight bend on it. It's just easier to get that in and be able to scoop it up and do that. So this is called the whip stitch that we're about to do, and you're going to want to start off in the corner and then work your way around. Let's begin, and I would be using the color white, but I'm not going to do that today. I'll use a different color. So the first thing I'm going to want to do is that on one side create a slip knot. And what this will do is that it will stabilize it and hold it in a position. On the other side you're just going to insert the tapestry needle. Starting off in a corner on the one side. Okay, we know that there is a chain 2 in there. So 1 and 2. So go to the first one, go to the one that's closest to you. Okay, so we go this one. So there's obviously one there and then one here. So go to the back loop only. And then get this one here, and it's the same stitch, okay, and you're gonna get the back loop of that one, okay, and you're gonna pull through, noticing that the good side is facing up. And when I pull through, I'm going to insert my needle through this loop, and this will lock it. Now if you're using the color white, you won't even see this join. That's why it's called the invisible join. Go figure, right? So you're going to go to the next back loop on the one side and there. So I'm always gonna go in the same direction so that the yarn travels over. Now because I'm just starting, I would lay down the straggler on top. Again, you will not see it. And you want to position it so it's gonna get stuck. So then you go to the next one. So the back loop and back loop. And after about 1 inch or so, I would then trim this straggler yarn. So it's a little generous in length right at the moment. And I'm traveling and matching the stitches. The stitches should be the same count. And as you're joining them, you're going to notice that it will sit more and more and it'll align with each other. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna whip stitch myself. So I would probably just do one more and then cut that yarn. So I'm gonna whip my stitch myself. I know whips and chains excite me. I'm going to meet you here and then I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna turn. So if this was the color white, and make sure you tug on it once in a while to really pull it together, and then you can get rid of this tail. And that will just sit quietly underneath, and again you won't see it. So I'll meet you here in just a moment. So I'm getting closer. It's possible that you may have screwed up. I know, God forbid, that you screwed up and you have an extra stitch. Fake it. This is not the time to be playing games. This is the time to put it together regardless on what it is. So, and don't think that us behind the scenes don't do that either. So once in a while I would tug on this and get the consistency. Because it's green you can really see it, but you can actually see it in the white, and just give it a good snug and make sure it kind of looks consistent with each other. Once I've gone all the way to there, I'm going to add in my next one. So the next one was technically this one, and I'm gonna immediately turn, and this is what I do on the corners. So I'm going to go right into the corner of the one side here and attach it, and then I'm gonna go into where this one is here, and I'm going to pull it together. So it's not only attached to one here, but it's attached to here too. And then I can start moseying on down, and I'm just going to pick up the back loops only. It gets a little dicey when you have those slip stitches at the end of a round, but you can do it. You can make it work. And what I'm doing is that I'm going around. So once I'm done this one, I could just jump to the next one, and then so on, and go completely around the center. Now my strand is not long enough, but the longer the strand, the more of a pain it is. So don't be scared if you have to change out that as well. If you don't prefer to go over top of this straggler like this, then you can just leave a long tail and just weave it back and forth on the back side. But technically that's what I do, if you've never noticed on my projects, because you probably have never noticed. But don't tell anybody, right? So I'm gonna meet you at the end of this, and I'll show you how to fasten off this. And I'm going to assume that you're going to do the rest on your own, and then we'll leave it there, and eventually you'll come and do the outside layer, and then you'll just have to go in and do these little mini spots here in the middle, right? And then at the end you would want to block it and damp block it, just lay it flat, and you may want to do that before you apply the border. Your call, you are the artist. So once you get all the way to the end, you just have the corners match each other, and then you're done. So I would actually add another block here. I would add another one, go right in here, and keep on going around. But in this case, for tutorial reasons, I'm not. So once you're ready to finish off, what I just do is that on the outside here, I just make sure that this loops into each other, so it kind of ties it into a little bit of a knot. And then usually, because the color is white, in this case it's not for what reasons we already talked about, is that I would just drag this color underneath the stitch work where you've been doing the whip stitch. So just kind of aligning it, and it kind of looks almost like what you've done on the other side, the way that you started over here. And then you're gonna go through there once, and then through a slightly different path back, and then one more. So I would never whip stitch with green. Like, I keep it the same color. So I like, when I design stuff, I like to have the borders all matching each other, so you can hide in your joining, so it's perfect. So that's how I would start and then stop, and then what I want to do now is cover the final border. So you have to put everything together, and let's talk about doing the border next. So let's do the final border. I technically would be using white again, but in this case you won't see my stitches. So we're going to start off in a corner spot, and we're gonna equally kind of go around. So when we go into the corner, you can go right into the space itself for a single crochet, but the remaining that's going across is that you're going to stay in the back loop only. So if you're new to crochet, chances are you're not doing this project, but if you are, the first loop is the front loop, the second one is the back loop. Stay towards the back side and just do the back loop only, and you're going to single crochet. Now where you come to the join, you just want to apply one single crochet into the joining spot, and that just is gonna kind of bridge you over to the next part. And because you're using the color white, this is pretty much just gonna blend in, and it will provide a little bit of a line texture that you see maybe. So where you're coming up where they join, just keep doing those back loops until you get up right up into that join. So there's a back loop there, and here's the join. The join is gonna be relatively tight, and just kind of sneak in a stitch there, and it's the same color, so you won't really see it anyway, and that will bridge you over, and then you could just jump on over to the next back loop and start the next side. So you're just gonna go all the way around, and so when you get to a chain 2 space, so if you have to follow it and it's turning a corner, it's still only one single crochet into that, and that's what you need to do for round number 1. So you'll go all the way around, and then you'll slip stitch to the beginning, and then you'll start round number 2 again using the same color, and we're gonna be doing something I've never done before. I know, scary. So I'll see you at the end of this round. In my case, I'm just gonna keep it brief, and then I'll just show you how to finish off the second round in just a moment. So the very final round, you're just gonna come up around and you're gonna do a crisscross using slip stitch only, which I've never done before. So let's just say that I come around, and I'm using a different color here just to demonstrate it for you. So we have to get ourselves established. So we're going to slip stitch into the next stitch and then slip into the one that was the joining here. So we kind of go backwards. Okay, so then you're gonna go to the next stitch that's available to you. So you're just gonna slip stitch and then slip stitch back into the one that you were just in. If this is not something that you want to do, you can just single crochet around too. So now that's done. So you're gonna go to the next one that's empty, slip stitch, and then go into the one that you were just in, right behind it. So you're kind of crisscrossing with each other. So you're gonna go into the empty one and then go to the one back and slip stitch. So it's gonna have a little bit of a raised lip at the end. Again, if you're not comfortable with this, you can clearly change it to something else if you wish. I would stick to single crochet though. So go to the next one and then go to the one you skipped and went back. But it provides a really kind of an interesting final look, and it is slightly raised off of the project as well, which almost gives you that same kind of like surface overlay thing. So I have to just be a little more looser with my tension, and it's something that you'd have to get used to doing. So I don't wanna edit this out because I wanna show you that I'm struggling a bit, because it's something that you just have to get used to. So you're just gonna go to the next one, provide a little more extra, and then come into the one you just were in extra. So it's almost like a reverse single crochet, but going forward, if I was to describe it. It's kind of neat. I think I'll use this in the future. So look at that, isn't that neat? So when it's laying down, you'll have a little bit of a raised surface, but this is raised, and this you're just gonna completely follow this around. So even when it comes in between, you're still going to do exactly that. If it's turning a corner, you're still doing that. So you don't have to compensate for the valleys or when you're turning over top of the peaks, and that would be how you complete this. So hopefully you've enjoyed this series, and it's Mikey on behalf of the Crochet Crowd, so with my friends over at yarnspirations.com. We'll see you.